Welcome, everybody, to the Sox Sentral Sports Show, where we are talking about the latest in sports. And today, of course, we have the NFL regular season to talk about. TikTok, welcome in. Come on in. Grab yourself a seat. We're talking football today. And I want to preface by saying thank you so much for joining Sox Central today. Thank you so much for being part of the conversation. This is going to be exciting. We're going to talk about the NFL regular season, how it turned out, and then we're going to be looking forward to the playoffs this coming up weekend. So sit back, relax, enjoy, and also don't forget merch link. Merch is in the description. So merch, I believe. I'm hoping it's not working. Okay. So, merch.streamelements.com/DJSox2785 if you want to take a look. TikTok, we are live on Twitch if you want to come join the conversation in the chat. It's going to be DJSox2785 on Twitch. The link is in the bio, okay? But I will be joining you guys here. I'll be joining you guys here. We are on multi-stream, so we should be on Facebook, on Trovo. Welcome into everybody. Welcome into everybody. Thank you so much for coming in. So, all right. So, let's talk about the regular season, shall we? All right, we're going to go ahead and switch over to some different music here. Here we go. So let's talk about what's going on in the world of sports here. Of course, that is my buddy. What's going on, buddy? I never can pronounce your accent. Anyway, talking football. Of course, as most people know, the football season and the regular season yesterday after a wild week 18, and we're going to talk all about it here. Let me go ahead and get situated, get everything squared away. Don't mind if I'm eating my lunch as well. Also, if you want to Twitch, if you're coming in, or TikTok, if you're coming in, we are live on Twitch talking football. The link is in the bio, twitch.tv/DJSox2785. You can also catch me on Trovo. You can catch me on Facebook and YouTube, I believe, as well. So be a part of the action, be a part of the conversation. Little bit. There we go. So we had a crazy week 18. Hearts were broken and dreams were made as we got our final 14 teams for the NFL playoff. Now, for the AFC, it is in seeded order. Number 1 seed is the Baltimore Ravens. Number 2 seed is the Buffalo Bills. My Buffalo Bills. The number 3 seed is the Kansas City Chiefs. The Super Bowl champions. Reigning, defending champions. Number 4 seed is the upstart Houston Texans. Who would have thought we would be talking about the Texans today? The number 5 seed went to the Cleveland Browns. Another surprise in my estimate. I don't think anybody had the Browns as far as they did this season. The number 6 seed is the very disappointing Dallas Cowboys, how about them Cowboys getting the job done yesterday, making sure they clinched the division and the number 2 seed. The number 3 is the Detroit Lions, the first NFC North title for the Lions in 30 years. Amazing for them. The number 4 seed went to, who am I missing? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Number 5 seed is the Philadelphia Eagles. Kind of disappointing the way their season is gone. The number 6 seed is the LA Rams, and the number 7 seed is the Green Bay Packers. Now, the matchups for this week: Pittsburgh goes to Buffalo, Miami goes to Kansas City, return of Tyreek Hill in Kansas City, and the Browns go to Houston. Dallas Cowboys host the Packers, the Rams go to Detroit, and the Eagles go to Tampa Bay. But before we get into looking forward to the playoffs, let's go ahead and look at our final standings for the entire regular season. So, with the AFC, way it breaks down, in the AFC East, the Buffalo Bills are the AFC East champions for the 4th year in a row, 4th season in a row. Followed by the Miami Dolphins with an 11-6 record. They this wild card, of course, we just talked about that. The New York Jets finished 7-10, kind of a disappointment for this season, especially where everybody thought they were going to be. And the New England Patriots are finally last in the division, first time in a long time. AFC North, the Baltimore Ravens got the 1st seed, and with a record of 13-4, they very much deserve that 1 seed. The Cleveland Browns at 11-6 come in hot. They lost to the Bengals, but they didn't have any other starters on the team yesterday. Pittsburgh Steelers clinched the wild card yesterday after a loss, after a Jaguars loss, and then the Cincinnati Bengals go a disappointing 9-8. But credit to, hey, how about them Cowboys? Higher mic volume. All right, let's go. Higher mic volume. There we go. Can we hear me? Can we hear me? Let's go ahead and turn that down a little bit. Turn this up. Yeah, better? I've got like multiple volumes here. TikTok, don't forget we are on Twitch live. Link in the bio. We're talking football today. Cincinnati Bengals go 9-8, but enough to be said about Joe Burrow's injury being out for the rest of the season. That was a big dent. They took a big hit. So the AFC South, what a topsy-turvy division. Amazing division this year. The Houston Texans finished with the division. Cowboys number 1, Super Bowl champ. All right, well, we're going to talk about that here in a bit. By the way, Jealousy and I, if Jealousy and I have a bet, if the Cowboys we don't have really a bet. It's not really a bet. It's kind of I'm going to hold you to this crap. If the Cowboys and the Bills go to the Super Bowl against each other, he's got to buy tickets. So y'all make sure you follow Jealousy and make sure you hound him for that. Because if this goes to a Bills Cowboys Super Bowl, your boy's going to Vegas. Your boy's going to Vegas. So we're gonna have to come up with the idea for hotels and stuff. You know, whatever. Might have to sleep in our cars, but that's the small sacrifices. Buffalo, eh? Well, we'll talk about that. We are TikTok. We are not doing any lives on this. We are live on Twitch. So just make sure you want to join the conversation. Go to the link in the bio there. Anyway, so back to The records here: the Houston Texans finished first in the AFC South with a 10-7 record. The Jacksonville Jaguars very disappointingly ended with a 9-8 record. They even beat my Steelers. What you mean? Shut up, Ethan. Prime time. Anyone but Casey. Bengals bounce back next year. I can see the Bengals bouncing back next year. We didn't talk about next year, though. We talk about this year. This year is far from over. We got the playoffs. The Indianapolis Colts. Honestly, I didn't see this coming. I thought the Colts were going to be kind of on the lower spectrum. Maybe like a 6-11 team or a 5-12 team. They ended up 9-8 with Gardner Minshew. Well, I mean, seriously, how about that? Also, the Tennessee Titans finished a disappointing 6-11, but they got the final win of the year and helped Buffalo and the Steelers get into the playoffs. So, thank you, Tennessee, for that. Appreciate you. We are also in the West. Of course, Kansas City Chiefs did take the division there with an 11-6 record. However, it was not without its flaws and, could we say, ball drops? Yeah. The Raiders, 8-9 after firing Josh McDaniels. They go with Antonio Pierce. Give that man a deal as the head coach, man. Don't take that interim label off. He did a great job this year. The Denver Broncos finished very disappointingly at 8-9. We're probably going to be seeing the end of Russell Wilson in Denver with that record. Sean Payton's just, I don't know what's going on with Payton, but something's off with him. And the Chargers finished 5-12. They had a massive amount of injuries, but they just didn't live up to expectations, especially with Justin Herbert being the quarterback that he was supposed to be, and then he went out for the season. So that's that was a big letdown. Now let's get to the NFC. Broncos country, let's ride. I wonder where Henry's going. Postseason Flacco scary. Yes. All that. I can see the Browns going the distance too. Yes, absolutely. Dallas Cowboys. So we got the NFC East. The champions of the NFC East this year are indeed the Dallas Cowboys at 12-5, beating, tying, taking one from the Eagles, and of course the Eagles lost to the Giants yesterday, which was very disappointing. The Eagles finished at 11-6 and kind of limping into the playoffs. The Giants finished 6-11, very disappointing, but at the same time, the Gabagool wasn't going to make the playoffs. We all knew that. And the Washington Commanders, I mean, what 4-13 is that really a disappointment for them this year? I guess it would be with Eric Bieniemy being the offensive coordinator. And the big question is, does he move to head coach? I don't think so, but it's a possibility. Josh Harris did bring him in probably for a reason, but there's going to be some talk about who could be the next head coach for the Commanders, as Ron Rivera did get fired today. The Eagles are frauds. How about my Carolina Panthers? Hey, there you go. Carolina Panthers being... Hey, you know what? If this were golf, Carolina Panthers would be the best team in the league. How about that? The NFC North, the Detroit Lions getting their first division title in 30 years with a 12-5 record. The Green Bay Packers just squeak into the playoffs. Jordan Love playing lights out in the last few games there. 9-8 record there. The Minnesota Vikings, of course, losing Kirk Cousins didn't help them, and their quarterback Carousel was just in shambles there. So a 7-10 record for the Vikings and a 7-10 record for the Bears, who came on a little bit stronger at the end of the season. So and they're looking mighty good going into draft season, as they have the first pick overall after thanks to your Carolina Panthers. Jealousy. The NFC South, the best division in the league, as they say. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers finish out the division as division champs. I think this was a third division title in a row. Yeah. So that's 9 out of 9-8 record. The Saints finished 9-8 after completely dismantling the Falcons, 48-17. And people are gonna, and I know there's gonna be people talking about that last touchdown that the Saints made, like in the last minute. Dennis Allen, of course, didn't condone that, but the players were like, "What the hell?" I mean, last game of the season, can't hold anything back now. You know what I mean? So a lot of things that's going to be talked about. The Atlanta Falcons finished 7-10, of course, rightfully so. Fired their coach Artie Smith, which I think we all saw coming after there was a complete disappointment. TikTok, we are live on Twitch, Trovo, for Facebook and YouTube as well. Matt, thanks for the likes. I appreciate you. Appreciate all the likes. And the Carolina Panthers finished with the worst record in football at 2-15. And again, if this were golf, that would be a good record. So, and in the West, we have the 1 seed San Francisco 49ers clinching the West Division with a 12-5 record. The Los Angeles Rams came on really strong at the end of the season, going 10-7, and becoming probably one of those scarier playoff teams this year. Seattle Seahawks, a little bit disappointing there with a 9-8 record. Geno Smith just wasn't the Geno Smith from last year. And Arizona, I mean, 4-13. I think there were a lot of people that saw that coming. But they have a lot. They have after some interesting wins for them. I think they have a pretty good foundation to set themselves on. So I appreciate the likes, Matt. Thank you so much. Saints were playing Madden yesterday. Yup. Yeah, that's very true. So let's grade these out. Let's go ahead and let's go back. We started with the AFC East at first. Jordan Roll, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Don't forget to follow me on Twitch. Come and subscribe there as well. But let's go ahead and go backwards, and let's do the West. Grades for the West. San Francisco 49ers got to give an A to. I don't think there was any. There really wasn't any surprise here. Brock Purdy really did live up to the hype. He had a couple bad games, but being a first-time starter last year after being Mr. Irrelevant, you were gonna expect this guy to lose, right? Everybody was saying, well, his first loss, well, he's finally losing it. No, let him grow into the role. You got to let him play a few games and let him lose a few games. You don't become truly elite unless you lose the few games that you need to lose, right? So good for Brock. Give them an A. Christian McCaffrey played lights out this year. We'll see how his injury holds, how his what his injury status will become next week. Not this coming up week, but next week. See if he's going to be 100% good to go. I don't believe in Pereira. He's a check down king. His receivers are S tier though. Right. So that's, like I said, when you have pieces like that, it's easy to create a name for yourself. You might not believe in the quarterback, but when you believe in his, when you believe in the talent around him, makes it a lot easier for him to do his job. So there's going to be a lot of Purdy haters out there. I tend to like him. I think he's a good kid. I think he's going to be. I don't know how elite he's going to become down the road, but he's certainly going to be a great game manager through his time in the NFL. Prescott or Tyreek Hill for MVP? I don't think it's going to happen. That is a absolute. Prescott would actually be a travesty. Tyreek Hill, I just don't see. He didn't break the record. So Lou Anarumo deserves a head coaching job. I agree. I will talk about head coaching candidates here in the upcoming weeks. But that's a great thought. Anarumo is he was a great defensive coach. Was a little off this year, but I think that had to do with everything that happened with Cincinnati. The Seattle Seahawks, I am going to give a C- to. I don't know. Jim Harbaugh to the Chargers. I don't know. That's the kind of that. We'll see. We'll see who else gets fired here. But it's a good thought. Depending on Belichick might be up for debate there. Seattle, I'm going to give a C- too. I just don't think with everything that they had going for them that not making the playoffs is a major letdown. So give them a C-. They did good. They did fine, but they could have done way better. And they have a good running game. They have good pieces on offense. Their defense was crap all year. So the Rams, I'm gonna give an A to. I just think I don't think anybody had the Rams on their radar with all the pieces that they lost. Puka Nacua was a godsend for them after Cooper Kupp went down for a little while. Puka Nacua was their guy, and so to have Nacua and Kupp in this offseason, that's going to be extremely dangerous. So give them an A. And Arizona, I'm going to give them a B-. I think expectations being what they were, I think they upset teams that nobody thought that they were upset. Of course, the Cowboys and the Eagles. I'm talking about the Cowboys and the Eagles for sure. I mean, I don't think anybody saw them beating the Cowboys and the Eagles in the same season or at all. So just not when you have a team like that, and they have a 4-13 record. They have a good foundation. Give them a B- because I think they've reached expectations this season, but they still didn't get the job done. So the South. Let's go to the South. This South, honestly, I almost give a D to the whole entire division. But we'll start with Tampa Bay. I don't think a lot of people pegged Tampa Bay to be the division winner after losing Brady and then gaining Mayfield. I think Baker was kind of an afterthought. He was an afterthought. So give them an A. Give Tampa an A. I'm gonna give New Orleans a C- as well. As well with Seattle. Yeah, just dissolve the division. Turn them into the UFL, right? But turn them to the UFL. The Saints, I got to give a C- too. Derek Carr did not live up to his contract this year. Although, first year in the first season on the team, sometimes you got to let things kind of pan out. Kamara did all right after his suspension, but he did struggle down the road. So they didn't make the playoffs. A lot of people had them make the playoffs, and they didn't. So give them a C-. Atlanta, I'm giving them an F. I had them. I actually, if you were to go back and listen to one of my other casts at the beginning of the season, yes, I agree. Olavi deserves a better team. Olavi deserves a better opportunity. Period. If you watched one of my previous sportscasts, this was. Hi, Monkey. How's it going, everybody? Hi, everybody. Yes, Carr is definitely overrated. He's not an elite quarterback, but he's not a bad quarterback. I can't say he's a horrible quarterback. He's not. I mean, he's a game manager. He went from elite to game manager in like a few seasons. Can't say, like I said, I can't say he's overrated. I never put him in that. I don't think I ever put him in that elite category for long. I mean, he had some good years with Vegas, but he's the NFC South version of Daniel Jones. I don't think he's that bad. I don't think he's that bad. But he can't run. DJ can run. But let's go back to Atlanta. I give him an F. Back to my one of my regular season preview. One of my bold predictions that I got completely wrong. I thought Atlanta was going to go off with the pieces that they had, and with Bijan Robinson getting drafted. I thought Artie Smith would know better than to not give him the ball. They just didn't give him the ball enough, and Bijan really kind of became a bust this year. Hopefully, this is what I'm hoping for Atlanta after them firing Artie Smith. I really think it's better than Jamarcus Russell. Pretty much. We don't like Bijan. We drafted him, but we don't like him. Why does he need the ball? My hope for head coach, the new head coach for the Falcons, would be Ben Johnson. I think that would be the ceiling. I think the ceiling would be Ben Johnson there. I think that with Ben Johnson being there as a head coach, he could utilize Bijan a lot better than Artie ever could. So I'd say Ben Johnson would probably go to Atlanta. I think that's probably a good fit for him. So we'll see how that goes. Free Pitts and Bijan and London will trade Freiermuth, Pickens, and Najee. Wow. I think let's say this: if Ben Johnson were to become the head coach of the Falcons, I think it would be Laporta, Gibbs, and St. Brown for Pitts, Bijan, and London. I think that'd be a fairer trade, honestly. But yeah, give the Falcons an F. They disappointed me. They disappointed me terribly. Carolina, I gotta give an F2. Not for anything. They just didn't live up to the expectation that we thought. Frank Reich was going to turn that team around. But I'm not going to put all the blame on the coaches. I'm not going to put all the blame on the players. The owner in this case, Tepper, is he's a pistol. He's a pistol, and piss him off, and game's over. I truly think that Tepper needs to do better as an owner, and if he's going to do better as an owner, he needs to let his management do the job that they're set out to do, and give them the time to do it. You cannot expect, with Bryce Young being the number one overall pick, not every number one overall pick gets it right in the first season. Not everyone will get it right in the first season. Lawrence had I will say this: Trevor Lawrence had a bad coach. Reich is not a bad coach. Reich was never a bad coach. It was just the fact that his offensive line was in shambles. The defense played decent. They were never out of games. There was hardly a time where they were ever out of a game completely. Their offense was just they was never there. So Carolina should have taken Stroud. Carolina should have taken Richardson. I still truly believe they should have taken Anthony Richardson. I think Richardson. Yeah, that's where I agree with jealousy. I think that I think with Stroud, Stroud wouldn't have done better in Carolina. The O-line is trash. With the O-line being trash, you need a guy, a big quarterback, to move around the pocket and to be able to stretch plays for you. Richardson would have been better. Would have been the best fit. And I think I said it before, and I'll say it again. I had Richardson pegged in the draft to go to Carolina. I thought he would. It didn't happen. I thought Richardson was probably the best prospect at that point in time. Now he got hurt, but we'll never know what would have happened if he went to Carolina. Could he have gotten hurt? Sure. Could he have stayed in the entire season and brought Carolina to a division title? Absolutely. So Carolina needs a player like Mahomes, someone who can move around and still make plays. Carolina doesn't have a first-round pick. That's a problem. So they're going to have to find, if they want to get a quarterback, well, they're going to need a lot of help. They need to try to build around Bryce Young. Okay, they're going to have to build around Bryce Young. True. Yeah, Carolina needs help, period. Their O-line needs to be fixed. That is the first order of business. Their defense is good. But I think that with the offense, they need to fix a lot. Their O-line first and foremost. After that, then everything else comes into play. They didn't have bad receivers. Shark and Thielen really did play decent. Did help Bryce where they could, but Bryce just wasn't prepared. I mean, he wasn't prepared for this season at all. But yeah, protect Joe Burrow. I agree. Okay, now we got that. Let's go to the NFC North. The Detroit Lions got to give an A+ to, man. They not only made expectations but exceeded them by winning the division. I think a lot of people pegged them to win the division, but there was always that talk of, are they the same old Lions, right? So give them an A+ because they did the damn thing. I mean, they really did. Dan Campbell he's a firecracker, man. He loves taking the risks. He loves going all out. If he was a poker player, you wouldn't need a poker face. He doesn't have a good poker face. He's gonna go all in every single time. I mean, seriously. Laporta out is going to be with Laporta out. That's going to make it very interesting. But do I put it past the Lions to win the first week? No, because I think the Lions in Detroit, that's going to be tough. Yeah. So but anyway, Detroit, they made the playoffs. We're going to see how they do against Stafford and the Rams. We'll see how they play out. That defense is going to have to play. Is going to have to ball out. Aiden Hutchinson is going to have a career game. Green Bay. Give an A to Green Bay. I did not expect Green Bay to make the playoffs. Didn't. I thought they were just going to be mediocre. Which, their record states that they're kind of mediocre. But Jordan Love played lights out at the end of the season, and they have a really good nucleus of wide receivers with Jaden Reed, which I'm not going to get into Jaden Reed right now because Jaden Reed pissed me off last week by getting injured and costing me my championship. Well, that's a discussion for another day. Dontavian Wicks, Romeo Doubs, Tucker Kraft, all those guys, man, they stepped up when they needed to, and Aaron Jones still hasn't. So they're gonna have a fighting chance against Dallas, but Dallas I think is gonna be too much at home. They always manage to get the job done. But give Green Bay an A for the season. Minnesota, I'm not gonna grade Minnesota too harshly because I think what they accomplished with the crap that they had, I gotta give. I'll give them a B- because I feel like they had. Yeah. I gave Green Bay an A. because I didn't expect Green Bay to. I gave Green Bay an A because I didn't expect them to make the playoffs. I really didn't. I expected them to be more mediocre than 9-8. I thought they would be 7-10, 8-9, 6-11, something like that. I didn't think they would be. So I give them an A because they jumped into the playoffs. Gets an F automatically. They got the skull chance. Look, here's the thing. Kirk Cousins doesn't get hurt. Different from they can still they would still be probably well in place to try to win the division. They weren't doing well at the beginning of the season, but they started to improve. Josh Dobbs, of course, they call him the Pastronaut, right? Did well. Nick Mullins just, so give them a B- because the issues that they went through at the quarterback position, they very well could have been like worse, much worse. So, B- for them. Their defense played better. Their offense was slightly off. So, B-, C+. I think that's fair. The Bears, you know what? I'm going to give them a B-. I'm going to give them a B- because I don't think anybody had the Bears going 7-10. Iowa's tight end, you know that. You know that's right. I don't think anybody pegged the Chicago Bears going 7-10. I think everybody had them being one of the worst teams in the league. And they somehow came on strong in the end. Justin Fields played close to his potential. So B- for him. Yeah, absolutely. Eberflus is going to still stay around. The biggest question is, do they keep Justin Fields? There's a lot of talk that Fields could be traded, and they go after like a Caleb Williams, or But honestly, why trade Justin Fields when you can get Marvin Harrison Jr.? Team him up with Fields. I mean, no, I don't think so. I think I will say this. With Eberflus as head coach, they figured out a way to get Montez Sweat on their team. And was it Montez Sweat or Josh Sweat? I think it was Montez Sweat, right? They figured out a way to get a guy like Montez Sweat on their defensive line that completely changed the attitude of the defense. So yeah, absolutely. I think drafting Harrison is probably the best move for Chicago. If you go and you do trade Fields, then you have to go with a guy like Caleb Williams or Drake May or even Jaden Daniels. I think I want to say Caleb Williams might be overrated. I know a lot of people are hyped about Caleb Williams, but I want to say that he might be overrated, and I don't want to say that too terribly confidently, but USC quarterback. I mean, name the last USC quarterback to do extremely well. Carson Palmer, maybe. I mean, Palmer was the only one that I think took his team to a Super Bowl or took his team to the AFC Championship. I can't remember, but yeah. I think Daniels might be a best bet. Drake May might be the safe option, kind of like we thought C.J. Stroud was a safe option, right? So, getting Stroud for Houston, that was a safe bet. So, I think Drake May is a safe bet this year. I think Williams is going to be an interesting call, especially if he has the demands that he has. No team's going to want that kind of ego. I mean, there's not going to be a lot of teams he'll probably drop because of that, in my honest opinion. Let's go to the NFC East. Dallas Cowboys get an A. They won the division. They kept rolling. They lost to Buffalo and still kept rolling. So they beat the Eagles when they needed to. Are the Wolverines winning today? You know, a jerk. They get an A+ if they beat Buffalo. They get an A+ if they would have beaten Buffalo. See, if you beat Buffalo in Buffalo, that's A+ territory. Would have got an A+ from me. You lost that opportunity when you lost to Buffalo. I think Lamar's going to win the MVP, in my honest opinion. I would love for Josh Allen to win it, but I don't think he's going to win it. He got snubbed from the Pro Bowl. See that? Cowboys get an A. Dak did have an MVP type season. Philly gets, I think Philly gets a D. Philly gets a straight on D. Why? Because they had a chance to secure the division at every turn, and they lost it. Yeah, well, you know, that was last year. We're not talking about last year's grades. Shut up. Philly gets a D. I feel like they really disappointed at the end, and they're limping into the playoffs. And there's a good possibility that Tampa Bay is going to beat them. There's no doubt in my mind that Tampa Bay could beat them. If AJ Brown is out, yeah, it's a no-brainer that Tampa Bay could very well beat the Eagles. I gotta give them. They don't get an F because they made the playoffs. Okay, they made the playoffs, so you can't give them an F yet. If they lose to Tampa Bay, the grade drops. Giants get a D. Giants, they really didn't do much this year. Daniel Jones got hurt, and honestly, they looked like crap at the beginning of the season. They started looking like a better team towards the end of the season, maybe with Tyrod Taylor. That team's a mess. Because now you have to pay Daniel Jones, or you got to bite the bullet and eat that money and go draft the quarterback. What do? You know, so yeah, I could get with that. Maybe a C, like a D+, C-. I would say is a fair grade for them. Washington, we're gonna give you know what? We're gonna joke around. We're gonna give Washington an A because they reached that expectation of being the worst team in the division. You can't say anything more about them, right? I mean, I don't think anybody had them. I think the big excitement level was with Eric Bieniemy. What could he do with a guy like Sam Howell? I mean, Howell did good. I mean, he didn't do horrible, but you know, he's not elite. But what Bieniemy was able to do with Sam Howell is, you know, beyond me. Mine. Daniel Jones didn't even play that much, so free that boy Scary Terry. Yeah, that's true. But no, Washington. In all honesty, Washington gets a C because they would just. I mean, they didn't really have true expectations. So there's that. Let's go to the AFC. Let's go to the AFC West. Kansas City, C-, man. C-. You get this year was the worst year for Kansas City. There's no joke. They lost to the Raiders, lost to the Bills. Kadarius Toney can't catch a pass. None of their receivers can catch a pass. Mahomes doesn't have anybody to throw to other than Travis Kelce, and Travis Kelce is more worried about Taylor Swift than football. So C-. I mean, you definitely stand a chance of losing to Miami this week. Absolutely. Do I think it's going to happen? No, because I think Miami. Let's just put it to you this way: Kansas City is going to be, I think they said the high for that game. The high temperature for Saturday in Kansas City was going to be 13 degrees, and the low was going to be 1 degree. And playing in Buffalo in that weather is one thing. Playing in Kansas City is a completely different monster with that kind of atmosphere. So Kansas City will get off easy this week, but don't think they're going to get off easy the rest of the week, the rest of the playoffs. So C- for them. Raiders, give them a B, because after Josh McDaniels, nobody thought that they were going to do anything after that. I mean, they looked like shit. They looked like crap. And Antonio Pierce really kind of turned that around. If he does not get this head coaching job, there's going to be a lot of angry people, Raiders fans and non-Raiders fans. I think Pierce earned that job. He's a player's coach. He was in the league. He played in the league. He knows what it is to win. He knows what it's. He knows what it's like. He knows what it's like to win in the NFL. Yeah, make Pierce the head coach. No, I don't think it's a no doubt situation. If this game's weather is what they're expecting it to be, Miami doesn't stand a chance. Not with the injuries that they have. There's no way. Absolutely no way. Think about it this way. When Buffalo went to Chicago in that kind of weather, and it was like, and they're calling for wind. The wind chill is going to be probably down to like -10. And jealousy, I'm telling you, my boys here, Ethan and Seth can attribute to this. When you're in the Midwest, if it's windy and it's cold, it's terrible, because everything hardens. That ground, that field is going to harden, making it harder to make catches, to do anything. If Mostert is bad, it's quite possible. I don't think that's going to be enough. You're going to have to have a game out of Tyreek. You're going to have a game out of Waddle, because Kansas City's going to go after the running game. They are. That defense is going to go after the running game. Everything hardens, and it's going to be very hard on Miami. It really is. It's no doubt in my mind. Do I think that they can win? Yeah, I do. But just like Philadelphia, they're limping into the playoffs. So there's that. Denver, you get a fat F. Denver gets a fat F. You can't. Sean Payton comes in, tries to turn the culture around, and the first thing you want to do is be on the same page with your quarterback, right? Be on the same page with your quarterback, okay? If you're threatening to bench Russ mid-season if he doesn't do everything that you tell him to do, I mean, seriously? Big fat F. Sean Payton. Bills is boom, I said it. I cannot wait to come on here and come to you and go, you were saying. Chargers, gotta give an F2. I just with their Staley was an absolute disgrace as a head coach. He's a better defensive coordinator even then. I mean, really. Justin Herbert just hasn't lived up to his name. Kellen Moore, the Kellen Moore selection for offensive coordinator, really went down the tubes. And you get an effort for having a backup coordinator back named Easton Stick. That's just a terrible name for a quarterback. Broncos, let's ride the bench. Yeah, exactly. Houston, A+, baby. Gotta give, going to the AFC South. Houston's got to give an A+ too. D'Amico Ryans has done amazingly with that franchise this year, getting the most out of C.J. Stroud, getting the most out of that defense. Will Anderson having a Pro Bowl type season as a rookie. I mean, he was lights out all year. the secondary stepping it up. Stingley and Derek Stingley was really good. So very, very good job for Texans too, and congratulations on the division. Jacksonville, big fat F. Everybody had Jacksonville pegged as probably one of the favorites to make the Super Bowl this year, and they completely missed the playoffs. You lose to Tennessee, somebody who was playing for nothing, with nothing to play for, and you lose to Tennessee. Yeah, I give you that. Indy, you get a solid B+, man. I really thought that I didn't think Indy was going to do anything this year. Didn't think Indy was going to do anything this year. I really didn't have them pegged for anything. I thought they might be mediocre. I just didn't see them having a winning record. I didn't see it. So there's that. Gardner Minshew comes in and he plays pretty much lights out the entire season until the end of the season. You know, I can't wait to see what they do with Richardson when he finally comes back and is healthy. And Tennessee, you know what? Say what you want about Tennessee. Give them a C+. This, just for the fact that they still played for their head coach. They still played for their star running back. They let their star running back go on Jacksonville. Give them a C+ for ending the season like they did on a high note. Baltimore, A+. Got to give Baltimore an A+. They did all the right things this year. They beat the right teams this year. They lost a couple of games. Now you have to prove yourself worthy in the playoffs. And Baltimore hasn't done that in the last few seasons. So Lamar's kind of cursed in the playoffs. And we'll see how they do as a number 1 seed. Last time they did anything, they lost to Tennessee. So Baltimore, great job getting A+ for the season. Cleveland Browns, you get an A. With all the issues that you had at quarterback, still managed to sport a very great, like a top 5 defense. And on top of that, you got a playoff Joe back. You got Joe Flacco, the elite of the elite. And Joe Flacco, here's something for everybody. Yeah, postseason Flacco. Here's a tidbit for everybody. Postseason Flacco, Joe Flacco, if he makes a Super Bowl and wins a Super Bowl, I believe he would be the first quarterback to do it with 2 teams where his first team was the old team that moved to a different city, and the second team being the old team now being the new expansion team, if that makes sense. Flacco gets in. No, Stefanski had that team humming, man. That team gets an A. You can give them a C if you want, but give them an A. That would be insane if Flacco did that. He basically won the Super Bowl with the old Cleveland Browns, now known as the Ravens. And if he wins the Super Bowl, now it'd be with the new Cleveland Browns. So he's done it with 2 different Browns teams. How about that? Let that blow your mind. Pittsburgh, A-. Give a solid A- to. Tomlin does it again. What can you say about Mike Tomlin that we haven't said already? I mean, he's got the most winning, probably the most consecutive winning seasons out of any coach that I've ever known. Aside from Belichick, maybe. But, I mean, Tomlin just gets the job done. He's never had a losing season. Ever. How does that happen? So, he hasn't made the playoffs in every winning season, but he gets it done. He gets the job done. Cincinnati, gonna give it a C because just because Joe Burrow went out. I mean, Jake Browning did fairly manageable. I mean, he managed the game well, and did a good job. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He did a good job. So they just came up short in the playoff hunt. So, and they finished the season off on a high note. The defense finished the season off on a high note. All right. I know everybody's going to want to hear this one. The AFC East. My Buffalo Bills. I'm giving them a B. I'm giving them a B. And I'll tell you why. Because this was not the season that I thought they would have. I did not think them losing to the Jets. It was the first game of the season. They've lost the first game of the season a couple times. They lost the first game of the season a few times with Allen there. But that never really meant anything. They go off and they beat the Raiders. They squash the Raiders. They squash Miami. They squash Washington. And then something happens, and they start losing an edge. Jesse's here. Oh no! Wait, Ethan did that. By the way, all the sound alerts should be on and going if you want to try to scare tactic me. And they're free. C+ easy. They just didn't have they just didn't do what I thought they would. They stumbled in the middle of the season when they lost to Jacksonville. I mean, they lost a lot of pieces there. They lost Davius White. They lost Matt Milano. They lost Daquan Jones. They got Daquan Jones back. I wish Matt Milano would have come back, but the Bills are potatoes. Yeah, okay. All right. But they came on strong. They lost in overtime to the Eagles, went on a bye, and then they went back. They went to Kansas City, beat Kansas City. That's going to be exactly what it's going to be like for yeah. Buffalo postseason Mario death. Denim. But they beat the Cowboys. They went on a 5-game run, clinched the division title, and that's why they get a B. If they lost, even going into the postseason, and they lost the division title, they'd be getting a C for me. They really wouldn't. I'm not Nick Wright, okay? I love my Buffalo Bills like Nick Wright loves his Kansas City Chiefs. But I'm gonna be perfectly honest when it comes to Buffalo. I mean, they made me want to drink almost every game. Hi, my name's Joey. I'm an almost alcoholic. But yeah, I mean they managed to clinch the division 40 seasons in a row. Now they got to get the job done. So we'll see how that goes. Miami, give them a D. Why? Because they could have wrapped up the division as well, and they didn't. They had a chance to finish out. They were horrible against good teams. They were great against bad teams. You know, and they're probably going to lose to KC. Probably. The Jets, give them a D. You know what? No. Give them a D+. Why? Because they finally got over the hump and beat New England. Actually squashed them in New England with snow. They were without Aaron Rodgers. So that's a problem. When you have Zach Wilson and Trevor Siemian trying to make things go, they showed off against bad teams, but they were horrible against good teams. That deserves something. 70 points in the game against a Denver team that was horrible at the time. Nobody thought, like, seriously. No. We're giving them a D. Why? Because now if they had gone and dominated the rest of the season, that goes up. That grade goes up. But they didn't. They didn't show that they could beat good teams. Okay, they barely squeaked by your Dallas Cowboys. Barely. And aside from that, they didn't beat any other good team. Not one. And when you can't do that, you're not going to get a good grade from me. 70 points is 70 points. We'll give them that. But put 70 points up on a good team. Then we'll talk. Denver was in shambles, and you know that. Everybody knows that. And the New England Patriots get a big, fat D-. Because I don't feel bad for Belichick, but I feel bad for the quarterback situation. I feel bad for Mac Jones. I feel bad for Bailey Zappi. Any other quarterback sans Tom Brady, post Tom Brady, that has ever had to go through there and basically get their career ruined. You know what? Just for the players, you get a D-. Tyreek Hill had quite a season. He had quite a season. However, Tyreek said he was going to reach certain goals, and he didn't. He was injured, and his numbers speak to that. But at the same time, there were teams that were able to stop him. There were teams that were able to stop him. When Waddle was out, he was the only guy. He was the one guy that could get open. And when that happened, teams mainly shut them down. Good teams shut them down. So, Miami is going to be an intriguing team to watch this playoffs, but I don't think they're going to make it past the first round. And that being said, we're looking, now that we've done the grades for every single one of the 32 teams, let's go into the playoffs. Our playoffs are as follows. Saturday, I believe we have the Browns at the... Yes, hold on. The Browns at the Texans. This one, I'm going to make my picks here. This one is going to be a very, very tough battle. I do believe. I think this is going to be a hard-fought battle. And both teams are going to give it their all. I love CJ Stroud, and I love D'Amico Ryans, but I'm going to give this to postseason Joe Flacco and the Cleveland Browns. I think they have enough. I think they have enough momentum going their way to where they can beat Houston. Now, Houston is very capable of beating Cleveland. Very capable. But that defense is tough. Then Saturday night we have the Dolphins and the Chiefs. Like I said, this comes down to the weather factor. And this is where my pick is. This is why I pick. This is why I'm picking the Chiefs to win. I think Dolphins going to Kansas City and facing the Chiefs is a humongous. It's that Arrowhead's tough. Arrowhead's tough on anybody. In the playoffs. Steelers and Bills. I've got Buffalo winning their wild card game against Pittsburgh. Going to be a hard-fought battle as well. I think Tomlin and their defense is going to play a good game, but I think at the end of it, Buffalo's defense will be too much for Mason Rudolph, and I think Mason Rudolph has his first bad game as a starter this season. Packers and Cowboys. I like Jordan Love. I like what he can do. I think he's a great quarterback, but with the Cowboys record at home and with their luck at home, I've got to go with the Cowboys in this matchup. Rams at the Lions is probably going to be the game of the weekend. Give me the Lions at home. I do think it's going to be down. It's going to come down to a last-second field goal. Because I think whoever has the ball last is gonna win the game. That's what it's gonna boil down to. And Monday, the Eagles at the Buccaneers. Honestly, this game might probably be one of the more boring games of the weekend. I don't think it's gonna live up to as much hype as the others. But I do think that that the Buccaneers will take the victory here at home against the Eagles. I think the only one I have, so that is basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins for the home team and one road team victory in this week's wild card matchups. Score predictions: Browns, Texans. Let's go. I don't want to say this is going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be. Let's go 23-14. Let's do 23-14 Browns over the Texans. Dolphins and Chiefs. I also think this is not going to be as high-scoring of a game because the Chiefs have problems with drops and the Dolphins just can't get out of their own way. But I do think it's just going to be it's going to be a bigger scoring game than Cleveland and Houston. Give me 27-20. 27-20. Chiefs over the Dolphins there. Steelers and Bills. This is a tough one. Because I've seen them have higher scoring games and I've seen them have lower scoring games. I know that right now, weather-wise, it's supposed to snow in Buffalo that day. So I'm going to say that it's going to be 20-7. Let's go 20-7 Buffalo. 20-7 Buffalo. There. Packers and Cowboys. This is going to be an interesting game. It's going to be interesting. I didn't say Green Bay is going to. I said I know Dallas is going to win. I'm going to go Dallas 31, Green Bay 18. 31-18. Because I think Green Bay will put up some points. And I think Green Bay will... Honestly, I think Green Bay will probably be the first half team. But Dallas will come back. 38-21 Dallas. It depends on how Joe Barry plays his defense against Dak. That's going to be interesting. The 31-18, I think, is a safer bet. Rams at Lions. See, this could be very defensive or it could be very offensive. With it being a fast field, I'm going to go with more of an offensive battle. We're going to go 38-35 Lions. 38-35 Lions. And the Eagles at the Bucks. 24-15 Buccaneers. 24-15 Buccaneers. Because I just don't think the Eagles are going to be on the same page there. So, yeah, I get that they score an average of 37 at home, but they don't score 37 every time, which is why I'm going on the low end. I think that Green Bay's defense has come alive a little bit, and if Jair Alexander is back, that's going to be a big. That's going to help them out on the back end. Jair is going to be squared up with CeeDee Lamb. And Alexander's got he's good. He's good. I don't think Stafford has a vendetta. I really don't think Stafford has a vendetta. I think Stafford's very happy for the Lions. I think, but he knows that he's got to win his matchup. So, we'll see how it goes. And TikTok, by the way, we are live on Twitch. So if you want to come on, link is in the bio. Whataburger. Eating Whataburger. So. Yeah. Let's, now that we've got our score predictions, let's go ahead and look on to kind of the off season here. Head coaching. Let's go head coaching. I do think Belichick is not gonna be in New England next year. I don't think he is. I can't see. It's good. It's good stuff. It's not my favorite burger. But it's a Texas staple. So, if you're here in Texas, if you come down here in Texas, we'll go. Bill to Carolina. No, I don't think so. You know for a full boy, Bill and David Tepper, man, they would butt heads. Tepper wants it done the Panther way. Bill wants it done the Patriot way. There are two different temperaments there. That doesn't make good bedfellows. I think if Bill's going to go anywhere, it's going to be LA. I think the Chargers have a better bet for Bill to go to LA. Artie Smith, or the Atlanta coaching job, I do think that Ben Johnson is the best fit there. I would not be surprised if they went with somebody else. But I do think that that Ben Johnson fits what Atlanta needs. So we're looking at the head coaching cycle. So here it is. The Atlanta Falcons. I do, like I said, I think Ben Johnson is the best fit for Atlanta to maximize that running game the way they have it. You got to be able to give Bijan the ball. That is a major. That's the major staple right there. So get you a quarterback and get the ball to Bijan. The Panthers. Honestly, I could say, not gonna lie, I honestly could see Harbaugh going to the Panthers. I really do. I really think Jim Harbaugh could go to the Panthers. It's a weird fit, but both Tepper and Harbaugh are very fiery individuals. The question is, would that marriage between the both of them work, or would it implode? You know what I mean? So I think Harbaugh to Carolina makes sense. They just fired their GM Scott Fitterer, so it could be interesting to see how that works out. Honestly, the Raiders, we just talked about this. If they do not make Antonio Pierce the head coach, then Mark Davis cannot be trusted as an owner. I just feel like Pierce, I feel like Pierce would be the best fit for them. He is. I think he has played for the Raiders, so that makes perfect sense. The Chargers, I think there's some different opportunities there. And then the Commanders, I just don't know what kind of coach you would want to put there for head coach. I just don't know. Josh Harris, I don't know enough about Josh Harris to say, okay, let's go ahead and this is the fit. Um, but I do believe that there's some there is some thought to that, to where maybe, I don't know, do you give Bieniemy a shot? I mean, he did some good things with Washington's offense. Their defense just looked like crap at the end. Their defense couldn't stop anybody. So maybe give Bieniemy a shot at the head coaching position and see what happens. Maybe, I don't know. You need a different quarterback. You need some different pieces there. But maybe Bieniemy would be the best fit there. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But TikTok, come and say hi. We are on Twitch, Trovo, Facebook, YouTube. I am working to get a stream key to go live on TikTok. So hopefully that'll happen here soon. I just applied for it today. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and talk about. Let's go ahead and change topic here for a second. I want to thank you guys for coming in. I want to thank you guys for being a part of the Sox Central community. I know I haven't been streaming a lot over the last 2 years. It has been 2022 is very, very focused on settling in here in Texas, and 2023 was just a crappy year. Of course, most of you know we lost one of our OG founders of Sox Central. MFJ, Nick Jones, passed away and lost his battle with cancer back last year. So that kind of put everything on the back burner. But this year it's gonna be way different. I feel like it's gonna be way different. I feel like I can get back into streaming and getting and be more dedicated to it. And that's what I want to be. That's what I want to be this time around. So I really hope that you guys stick around. I hope we can get the subscribers back the way they were. Because right now I don't think I have any subscribers, but at the same time, at one point in time we had over 50 subscribers, and that was a feat. That was a real feat, and I was super happy about that. I want to be able to do the stuff that we used to do back in 21, be able to hype people up, be able to do giveaways and stuff like that. So let's make this the best. Let's make this 2024 the best. Don't forget, we do have a merch store if you want to check out that. It's merch.streamelements.com/DJSox2785. I do not know what's going on with Stream Elements. I saw that they still have the commands set, but I don't know what's going on with Stream Elements at all. So we'll see how that goes. I have no idea why it's become a problem. We'll see. I don't know. But that being said, we've also got once we start getting more subscribers, then we'll start having a subscriber goal, and we'll get back into all that as time rolls on. So, but back to football. Let's recap some of the scores for this week. This was a crazy week, honestly. We'll start with Saturday's games, where Saturday we saw Houston beat Indianapolis, and eventually find out that they win the division. That was for the division. Did a great job. We had a great spot from CJ Stroud there. They beat the Colts 23-19. Matt Gay had some good highlights there as the kicker. Steelers Ravens. I honestly thought with Snoop Huntley being in the the game for the Ravens. I thought the Ravens might stand a chance of winning this game. But I wasn't surprised that Pittsburgh pulled it off in the end. Buccaneers, Panthers. The Bucs actually, not a surprising game. I mean, like I said before, the Panthers are never out of the game. They just don't have the offense to keep up with everybody else. So when they do play, it's a low-scoring game. I mean, let's just look at the Panthers here. Let me see if I can pick them up here. Hold on. Yeah, I don't think they had a lot of blowouts, which is one of the reasons why I was like, okay, they lost to the Jets. Oh wait, that was okay. They lost to the Falcons in the first week, 24-10. Okay, not a humongous blowout. I mean, both teams were kind of like meh, but that was at Atlanta. So, New Orleans, they lost by 3. Seattle, they lost by 10. Minnesota, they lost by 8. They lost at Detroit terribly. They lost at Miami terribly. They beat the Texans. They lost to the Colts by 14. They lost to the Bears by 3. The Cowboys, I mean, fair enough. They lost to the Cowboys 33-10. They lost to the Titans 17-10. They lost to the Bucs 21-18. The Saints 28-6. 9-7, they beat the Falcons. They lost to the Packers 33-30. They lost to the Jags 26-0 and 9. I mean, there were blowouts and there weren't blowouts. Okay. Let's just say that there were blowouts and there weren't blowouts. But they didn't necessarily. When your team offensively is not playing up to their potential and cannot do anything on the field, the defense suffers. So if they did get blown out, I don't want to say it was all the defense's fault. It was the offense not being able to capitalize on the opportunities the defense gave them. So, you know, it goes to say that you know they have pieces of but it just wasn't their year. It wasn't their year, and honestly, that could be a big thing for next year. They have to get better on offense. Their O-line, they need help on the O-line badly. Their O-linemen have not lived up to the potential. So, you know, but yeah. So that is going to be all for today. Well, we're not talking about the game. All right, my bad. So now you have the Sunday games. Jacksonville, Tennessee was probably the most surprising, I think. Of course, I was hoping that Tennessee would win that game. But Tennessee went out. I feel like after listening to one of Mike Vrabel's press conferences, I feel like that there was some like the players heard his press conference and they're like, oh, we need to play for our coach. You know what I mean? I think that was the case. So, Cincinnati, Cleveland. I mean, the Cleveland sat their starters, so that was not really any surprise. Detroit beating Minnesota, not a surprise at all. The Jets beating New England, not a surprise, but at the same time, congratulations to the Jets for finally getting one on New England after 15 straight losses to them. New Orleans just absolutely routing the Falcons. Seattle and Arizona went to, it was 21-20, and Arizona had a chance to close it, but Prater missed a field goal. Green Bay did a great job against Chicago in keeping Justin Fields at bay. Kansas City and Los Angeles, 13-12. Kansas City didn't play their starters, but to keep Easton Stick in a game like that, that's terrible. Las Vegas beating Denver, that was expected. Giants beating Philly was not expected. Of course, LA, the Rams beating San Francisco, I thought was going to be expected there. Dallas beating the Commanders, everybody thought that was going to happen. And then Buffalo beating Miami. Buffalo was favored to win that game, and they finally covered the points, covered the spread there. So, great week 18, great end to the regular season. But now we're in the playoffs. We're talking playoffs, and can't wait to see what happens. So, that being said, we're gonna call it a night. We're gonna call it a day. We will be getting a more dedicated schedule. I am going to try to work to get a stream going every afternoon. Today was our Sportscast. Tomorrow we'll see what I conjure up. We'll see how things work. TikTok, be on the lookout. Hopefully we'll be able to stream live from TikTok on the stream. So I'll be able to talk to you guys a little bit more via one screen. So we're gonna do gaming. We're gonna do singing. We're gonna do sports talk. We're gonna do it all. That's what we're gonna hype people up. That's what we do. That's what Sox Central is made for. It's made to be a place where everybody that has all different kinds of likes can come and enjoy watching. So be on the lookout for all that. And I appreciate you guys coming in. Again, do not forget to like, follow, and subscribe to all my platforms. Trovo, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, all of it. So we will see you tomorrow. Most likely will be a gaming stream. Don't know what game yet. We'll see. We'll see as things go on. We will see you on the next one. Bye.